Well, so a lot of psyops actually, people are starting to think that psyops are actually just in the air. I don't know if you've
Talking about like smart dust.
I don't know if it's dust or it's just some kind of telepathic. Like this one lady is apparently living in a Faraday room that she built, and she looks like a normal. She looks normal. You
Shout
never
out to
think
John McAfee.
Yeah, check this lady out.
It's weird. I'm in this room that I made. It's a Faraday room. It's all blocking. It's blocking all kinds of frequencies or whatever. I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat, but I'm pretty much in a tinfoil room, okay? I'm one of those weirdos. But I will let you know that while I was working on these chords, I was just sitting here, meditative, chilling. People that I haven't thought about for years started coming to me. And I was like thinking about these happy, wonderful thoughts. And then I opened the door and I went outside the room, which isn't Faraday at all. It's just a regular, whatever house. And all of a sudden this thought came to me out of nowhere. PORN. I was like, you want me to think about that? And I thought about it for a second. I go, wait a minute, where did that even come from? We're getting zapped with frequencies that are controlling our thoughts. This is how you get away from it right here.
See, this is that victim mentality again. It's like, wow, so you can't even take accountability for your own thoughts anymore. It's like, where? The first thought in her mind was, wow, you want me to think about that? It's like, who's the you? Like, who is you talking about? Like, who are you?
She's talking to herself.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I know. It's like, but she can't because she's thinking that there's a third party implanting that thought in her mind.
That's why she's got to stay in that room so she can continue talking to herself.
Yeah, it's like, and now she's causing all of us to think about PORN. And she's actually thinking like, it has nothing to do with these, because she was saying I was having these pleasant thoughts of all these people I've known, and then I all of a sudden I just have this thought, this sexual thought. And it's like, well, yeah, maybe you were thinking of some hot guy or something, like someone you used to know, right? Like you can easily make this train of thoughts.
Unless she's not human, she might be an NPC.
Yeah, she could be an NPC.
And then she got out of the controlled apparatusy where she can stop the NPC program, I guess. And she gets out there and she's like, oh, wow, the program is back.
Yeah. It's just, and she put this online too.
Yeah.
So now everybody thinks, oh, so this is what you think about.
But see, and all these things are just microcosms of the wedge, because you watch that, I watch that, anybody watches that. It forces us to say, I don't ever want to be like that. But then we have iterations of things that we think like that. Like, we don't want to ever feel like we're being duped by mass propaganda. So this is like a microcosm. Mm-hmm. I'm in my isolated echo chamber. I feel safe. As soon as I go out into this world, you're afraid of dealing with conflict. So you go back into your echo chamber and you're like, oh, now I have these thoughts again. It's safe. But it's weird. As soon as I open the door and I go to McDonald's and wow, did you know that all this stuff is out here polluting the airwaves and causing me to believe this crazy stuff? But you don't realize you're just like this person. You just don't see it because you don't realize the world is being curated.
Well, not only that, she's the implications of this. This lady probably finished her Faraday room. Now, any thoughts she has in there, she's going to think, these are my own thoughts. I'm literally in a vacuum. Every thought produced in here is genuinely my own. I did not get this from anyone. It's like, wow, yeah, tell that to evolutionary biologists and everybody else.
Where'd you get the idea of aluminum foil, Faraday?
I know.
Anything.
But see, everything from henceforth, though, now that I'm in this Faraday room, it's specific to me. These are my original thoughts. Somebody didn't plan them in. And as soon as so not only is she going to do that, she's probably going to write a book too, my personal thoughts that were untainted by the rest of the world. And everybody's just going to laugh at her. But then not only that, she's going to leave this room, and anytime she gets any kind of thought about anything, she's going to think, oh, it's that guy in the coffee shop that's sitting across me. He's thinking about this, or she's thinking about that. So she's just going to be judging everybody, which is going to cause her to go back to her Faraday room and just be more secluded and more into her own thoughts until eventually, yeah, she might actually convert to playing GTA and leaving and start doing things to people.
Yeah, I think that's why the virtual world, or what we call today parasocial relationships, are so desirable because it leaves you this illusion of safety. I don't have to really do it. I'll just live all this excitement and fear and threat through that person. And then I will just accept that that's my achievement or failures through that individual. But you don't understand that individual's curating your reality because whatever they're doing, you're forced to accept that's a part of you. And so this whole thing is just, like I say, media dissemination. It's overload. You have one side overloading, good, good, good. This is great. Individual thoughts or perfect thoughts or truth or whatever or good people or America, blah, blah, blah. And over here is like enemy, executioner, bad, that's demonic, blah, blah, blah. And it's just every day, everything. Every article, every news, every TikTok feed, boom, 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 is overload. And it's so overstimulating that eventually that's the goal. It's not to find truth. The goal is for Operation Chaos. That's all they want. Because once you say, I don't care, they can do whatever they want. And you know what you're going to say still? I don't care. And then they can do whatever they want. They can shoot anybody. They can do anything. They can take away your rights. They can do anything they want. I don't care. It's too much. So the goal is overload. So eventually you will just capitulate.
It makes me wonder if every person, this is how they start out. So they start off with like that lady in that other video where she's so scared. So she goes to her own room, her own house, builds this Faraday room and all this where she can feel safe. And then eventually she gets all these thoughts of her own. She starts thinking, starts hearing that inner monologue. And then she goes out and starts doing horrible things to schools and stuff like that. So it's almost like they always start out voting. Like it's almost like everybody's got a pendulum inside of themselves. And they start out voting one way. But then that when they keep on doing that, they get more and more secluded. But then they eventually go into this dark place. And then they come out guns blazing. And that's just how they all end, it seems like. And yeah, if they never had this internal doubt, they can't stop and think, maybe I shouldn't do this. Or is it like think about things? They're just a product of all this propagation.
But that's actually the fruit of isolation. If you don't have new thoughts, the only thing that can grow are existing paradigms, which are your fears, which are your insecurities, which are the things you think are good. And that's it. And that's the only thing that it's going to build upon. You're never going to have a narrative to say, well, maybe you're wrong. Have you ever thought about this? You can't because you're isolationist. Even if you're in a community, if it's an echo chamber, it's the same thing. An echo chamber is just like living in a Faraday room. You reject, doesn't matter logic or not, you just reject everything that's contrary to the narrative. So you don't have that possibility. So yeah. So eventually you write this manifesto and you make a video and you tell everybody why you're about to do this heinous thing, and you justify it, and you go out and you shoot up the planet because it's reached the head to say, now I have to accomplish this echo chamber that's been building, and now you're at the pinnacle. And well, that's it.
Yeah, if this is a legitimate pattern, then that lady with the mask who got shunned out in public, she's going to go home, and we know what she's going to do, not now, but eventually, as she ruminates in her room. She's either going to, well, she'll just die before then, and I don't know how long it takes. Maybe for different people, it's different times, but she has potential, and maybe the government should be watching her.
Well, I think the government already knows. Again,
but when I say government, not the overarching government, I mean like police, the local police specifically should probably keep an eye on her.
They're worried about eating, cake and bacon, but the government.
Well, she had a lot of cake.
The government curates these functions of our world, and that's why you see them so much. It's not like if you didn't have so much overload, you wouldn't see this as much. If people want to wonder why you see all this crazy stuff happening more often now than, let's say, 70 years ago, 50 years ago, it's not because people are different. It's because the curation of media and psyops is more than ever. Back in the day, how many radio broadcasts can you force people to watch or listen to? How much TV can you force people to watch? It's still volitional. But now that they have forced us to be addicted to the phone, you are forced. You think, I have free will, I can put it down. Go ahead, try it. Let me see you live without your phone. They have figured a way to force you. It's an inverted totalitarianism. Totalitarianism says, here's a gun. You will do what I say. The inverted totalitarianism is we're not forcing you, but they created an addiction that you believe I'm making my free choice to do this, but you're forced to do it. It's an inverted totalitarianism. And they have perfected that. They could never do this until now. And so you have the illusion that you are free. I can put down this phone. Go ahead. Let me see you do it. Let me see you try living without it. You'll be back. They know you'll be back. And we're not going to force you to do it, but you will willingly accept the narrative. It's perfect. And that's why these things happen today more than before. It's not because people are different. They have perfected the Psyop. And so the last thing I want to talk about is the OODA loop. And people are like, what in the world is the OODA loop? Well, I'll show it here. The OODA loop, it stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. It's a decision-making model developed by the United States. And this is a common function of how we decide to do things. And this is a decision-making brain mechanism. So first, you observe the reality. Then you orient yourself to the situation. Like, let's say you're out and there's a bank robbery. So you observe it. You see what the situation is. Then you orient yourself in that bank robbery saying, all right, I'm here now. Let's look at everything. Then you make a decision on what you're going to do. Then you act. This is a basic function. This is all what we do. But what the government has figured out is how to hack this OODA loop. And that's why these psyops are so effective. And how do you disrupt the standardized observe, orient, decide, and act? It's simple. Like we've been saying, overload. Are we winning? Are we losing? Are we going to die tomorrow? Are we living? Is my neighbor a terrorist? Are they executionists? Is Trump really the God of the world? Is this really happening? Is the apocalypse happening? Is this happening? Is my pastor telling the truth? Is that cult over there lying? Is the silver going to go to $9 billion an ounce? You have all this overload. How do you orient yourself in that? Which one of these million scenarios are you going to put yourself in? Because you have to ground yourself in a situation, then you can make a decision. But if there's a billion decisions and all of them feel like they're life-threatening, you can't choose one. It's too much. I can't put myself here, financial decision, terrorist decision. It's over. So they have figured out every human has to function to make a good decision in an OODA loop. But they figured out if they just do mass overload, you'll capitulate. They have figured out how to hack the OODA loop. And so you have to decide, are you going to be a part of this premeditated overload? This is like what I said in the beginning. This is a learned helplessness. And why is it called learned helplessness? Because when you hear all this data, what are you doing? You think, I'm being informed. The news tells me this. Hey, I know this. I know this now. I know this. What they call this analysis paralysis. I know this, this, and this. So you learned all this, but in the end, you're helpless. You can't do anything because it's too much. If they told you just one thing, you could make a decision and you could act. But when they tell you everything at the same time, there's Venezuela, there's Greenland, there's Minneapolis, there's Iran, there's all of this. Now you're like, what am I supposed to decide here? And you know what the government's going to say? You don't have to make a decision. Just trust me. I have it all figured out. I know it's too much for you guys, but I got it under control. So trust me. And most of us will say, you know what? You're right. That's just too much. You guys will probably figure it out and do right. Yeah.
I think the Gen Zs figured it out. That's why they say trust. Trust.
And so that's the Steve Bannon doctrine. Just flood the zone with so much crap that eventually you'll stop trying to figure it out. You won't trust your eyes. You'll just accept the loudest signal being broadcast. And that's usually the official narrative.
Louder is not truer.
So the battlefield is not out in the world. The battlefield is your mind.
Yeah.
And that's what's being fought for. And the Department of Homeland Security, they call this cognitive infrastructure, where they actually deem your mind a national security asset that needs to be managed, protected, curated, just like the national electric grid or the water supply. Your mind is a national security asset. It's called cognitive infrastructure. And so if you don't think they're careful on how they construct and curate your thoughts, you're actually out of your mind. It's a national security asset that they do. And so it's happening every day. So the next time you scroll past a headline about Greenland, or you watch a viral video about Minneapolis, ask yourself, is it the news, or is it just a modern version of a ghost tape blasting from a helicopter? Because the battlefield isn't over there anymore. The war is here. And you are the terrain. The mind is the battlefield. Don't get stuck in the matrix.
Well, it's like Confucius always used to say. Banker who sits in freezer will have frozen assets.
Well, any good last words you'd like to leave us in this schematics of Psyop, colleague?
Well, I know a lot of people have been struggling with Doug specifically. I've mentioned Doug many times, like you always introduced, host and his colleague and Doug. Well, if you're wondering if Doug is a legitimate person, or even if, for you lady folk out there, if you're single and ready to mingle, or if you're down to clown, Doug has some good questions for you. And you may be wondering, why should I date Doug, if you're thinking like that?
I bet you're wondering why you should date Doug. Well, I'm one of a kind. I'm great. I'm somebody who will always open the car door for you and close it. I would open the door to a restaurant for you. How would it feel to be in love? Well, how would it feel to be in love is like, I would really, really like to know.